Hi, this is Frode and welcome back to Actualize Notes TV. Today we have another great book, The Plant Paradox by Stephen R. Gundry, MD. The Plant Paradox. Subtitle, The Hidden Dangers in Healthy Foods That Cause Disease and Weight Gain. Stephen Gundry is a renowned cardiologist and heart surgeon who's also an extremely captivating nutritional writer. After treating over 10,000 patients, he has created the clinically proven program, the Plant Paradox program, to help us create amazing health for ourselves. And I picked up this book because I wanted to create sustained weight loss, not fat, but the weight wavers a lot, and vibrant health and energy, and also reduced risk of pretty much all diseases, especially heart disease, because as you might have heard me say in other videos, my grandfather died of a stroke at the age of 50. My father just had a minor stroke at just over the age of 50. And therefore I have to be really careful about what I eat if I wanted to live past the age of 50. Okay, and if any of the benefits sound good to you too, I think you'll love the book. For now, let's look at 5 of my favorite practical big ideas. The first one is plants versus animals. We all basically regard plants as our friends, right? At least I did before. But Stephen tells us that they aren't really our friends. Many of them. And it all started out about 450 million years ago, when the plants were basically alone on this planet. And they didn't need to run, hide, or defend themselves in any way. But 90 million years ago, the insects started coming. And they started eating those plants. So the plants had to start creating defensive strategies. And they started producing something called lectins, which is a kind of a protein found in, particularly in gluten, but also in other substances. And what this does is that lectins, I'll write it down so you'll remember. Lectins, often found in the seeds of plants, they paralyze insects. And although there's a huge difference between insects and mammals like us, we also experience the bad effects over years and decades of eating those plants. And the result is not good, which he dives into in the book. And there's basically a war going on between the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. Because, as he says, every living thing has the drive to survive and reproduce, to pass on its genes, also plants. And helping us eat the good plants that don't contain lectins and stop eating those that contain lectins is what this book is pretty much all about. And I'm at day 1 of the 6-week Plant Paradox program, where we take out all of the lectins, harmful to our bodies, and incorporate healthier foods. And some of the results of lectins are they can promote weight gain, heart disease, and more things that we don't want to experience. So lectins are not good. There's a war between plants and animals. Check out the book for more. Our next big idea is the Reedy Toss. So he mentions this Hippocrates. Thousands of years ago, Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, discovered the body's natural ability to heal itself, and he called it the Reedy Toss, which means green life force. And he explained that this green life force, the ability of our bodies to heal itself, to become healthy, can only work if we identify the things that are preventing it from healing itself, that are blocking it from healing itself. And this basically means that if we want our bodies to heal, we have to stop eating the foods that especially contain lectins, but also all the other processed and suboptimal foods that we often allow ourselves to eat. For example, McDonald's, cookies, ice cream, and many other foods that are not good for us. And it reminds me of the role duty of a philosopher, which is basically to help people uncover their ignorance, their mental illnesses, or their limiting beliefs about life and help them discover truths, which are mental remedies, and they are not so limiting beliefs. They are the truth that help us live at our highest potential. So that's just a little aside there. And my question for you is, two questions are, what's the number one thing you know is unhealthy for you that you are eating, that you're going to stop eating? So, what's the one thing you're going to stop eating because you know it's bad for you? And what's the number one thing you know is healthy for you that you're going to start eating daily? For me, this is some of the stop doing things is cookies, baked goods, ice cream, and basically all kinds of sweets. And I'm going to start eating, only eating salads mostly these days, butter, oils, nuts, olives, and much other goodness. You can check out Eat Fat, Get Thin for more on some good fatty foods. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Third big idea is our second brain. Stephen tells us that we all have a vagus nerve, which transmits signals from our guts to our brain. And our guts actually have twice as many neurons as our entire spinal cord, which basically means that we have a second brain in our guts. And since our brain determines every single thing we do and think, it would be pretty wise to take good care of our brains, right? Both the brain in our head and the brain in our stomach. And how do we do that? We eat healthfully, which this book is all about. And again, did you figure out what you're going to stop eating and start eating in order to heal your body and make a good party down in your second brain? Fourth big idea is diets. Stephen talks about the flawed thinking that many of us have that diets work. But what happens when we go on diets is that most of us torture ourselves for a couple of weeks or months, and then we revert back to our old habits. Is this you? That's at least what it's been like for me. I have decided to start eating a certain way to lose a few pounds, and then I would just let go and start eating like I did before. But he makes a really important distinction between diets and a way of life. When you go on a diet, you just want to lose a couple of pounds and then go back to your old behaviors. When you eat as a way of life, then you eat the foods that are most optimal for you, and you evolve your nutrition as your knowledge about what's good for you and what's not continues to expand. But you don't try to revolutionize how you eat just to go back to your old habits once you have lost a couple of pounds. And he also emphasizes the causes. When we want to lose weight, we are not addressing the underlying causes of why we are overweight. And what's fascinating is that when our gut bugs, the bacteria that are in our stomach, have been fed by lots of foods filled by sugar, like sweets, cookies, donuts, and all of those processed foods, then it starts craving those foods, meaning that we start craving those foods. Chocolate, you get the point. And when we stop eating those foods for a couple of weeks or even a month, then we will stop craving those foods and we'll instead start craving salads, olives, coconuts, and oils. That would be a good thing, right? And Mark Hyman also echoes the wisdom of treating the underlying causes instead of just risk factors. And he says something along the lines of treating only the risk factors instead of the underlying causes is somewhat like mopping up the floor when your sink is overflowing. You can also use the image of painting your leaves green when the leaves on your tree are starting to get brown, instead of watering the roots of the tree. So, Are you treating causes or just risk factors? What you basically eat or how much you weigh? Okay, fourth big idea is 4 rules. And by the way, my way of eating, it wasn't way of life, it was way of eating, is a high-fat, low-carb, and no lectins approach. Combining Mark Hyman's Eat Fat, Get Thin, high-fat, low-carb, and Stephen Gundry's Plant Paradox program, for no lectins. So we'll see how that goes. 4 rules for the Plant Paradox program. So in the end of the book, he says that now that you know the science of how the Plant Paradox works and why it works, it's time to memorize the 4 rules of the Plant Paradox program that we need to live. And every time we start rationalizing something about certain foods and saying that this is healthy, when it's not, it contains lectins, for example, tomatoes or squash or other fruits that contain seeds, then we need to get back to rule number 1. And rule number 1 is what you stop eating has way more impact on your health than what you start eating. As we talked about in Reedy Toss, we need to let our green life force go to work for us by stopping to eat, by not eating the harmful foods and eating the healthy foods. Second big idea is if you take good care of your gut buddies, they will take good care of you. After all, you are their only home. And if you take good care of them, that means that you eat healthy foods. It all goes back to that. 3 is that fruit might as well be candy. Because fruits contain sugars and sweet taste, they create cravings in us. And he says that great apes eat fruit to gain weight for the winter. What makes you different? Nothing. And also farmers feed their animals corn and soybeans and other types of food, and to fatten them up. And what makes you different? Nothing. And that's basically, fruit is not good for us when we eat it all year around. We need to eat it in real good moderation if we don't want to create cravings for unhealthy foods, sweet foods. And 4, this is a really cool one. You are what the thing you are eating ate. Meaning that if you eat a chicken that ate corn, then you're basically eating corn, because the chicken ate corn. If you're eating a cow that ate grass, you're basically eating grass, because you received the nutritional content that was in the grass. Since there's a certain amount of nutrition in the grass that came from the soil, it gets transferred into the cow, and then through the milk or the cow, it comes into you. It's a really cool idea, and something you need to think about. Because if you feed chickens and other animals corn and soybeans, which are not really good for our health, then we are eating foods that are not good for our health. But if you instead eat meat which has wandered freely and eaten grass, then it's much better for us. You can check out the book for more. But those are the 4 food rules. Which one are you going to apply to your life? Diets treat the underlying causes instead of risk factors. Go from dieting to a way of eating. Our second brain is in our gut. We need to take good care of it. And by the way, he says that your body is the only home you will ever live in. So we should treat it pretty good. Pretty well. And the Reedy Toss. Green life force. You need to make it work for you by stopping to eat the foods that are harmful and starting to eat what's healthy. And plants versus animals. There is a war between plants and animals. Plants can defend themselves with a substance called lectins, which makes us feel bad and is actually harmful over the long run. Okay, that's a quick look at the Plant Paradox by Stephen R. Gundry. I hope you enjoyed. And what's the number 1 idea that jumped out at you, that inspired you to take some action? And what's the number 1 step you can take towards applying it to your life more consistently starting today? Get on that. Okay, I'm looking forward to share more wisdom with you soon. Our next book will be Braving the Wilderness, a book that came out today actually by Brené Brown, and it's all about creating true belonging and being able to stand alone. The subtitle says that. I'm diving right into the book after creating this video right now. Okay. I hope you'll have a good day, and let's actualize so we can change the world together. See ya.
Hi, this is Frode. You might know me from the work I do on YouTube, but I also want to tell you that you can gain access to a ton of more wisdom at my website, Actualizer.me. And here, I focus all of my energies on answering the question, how can I help you actualize your life on a day-to-day basis? Because I know that even though you want to actualize your life and develop yourself, you're too busy to read all day. And that's why I'm all about sharing wisdom made practical. Fun, inspiring, and practical wisdom you can apply to your life immediately. And I do it through something I call Actualize Notes, which include big ideas from 100 plus of the best and most transformative books on optimal living. It's notes from a fellow actualizer who wants to embody and help you embody these ideas more consistently in your life. And these Actualize Notes include 100 plus practical PDFs, which is 6-page PDFs with condensed wisdom ready for use. These are recorded into 100 plus MP3 guides, because all ANs are recorded as MP3 so you can actualize on the go. I also create 10 to 20 minute ANTV episodes, which I upload on YouTube. And these are again converted into MP3 files so you can get access to them on the Actualize podcast. And all this work includes over 750 big ideas from ancient philosophers, modern scientists, and your own common sense, explained for easy use. You can gain instant access at my website, Actualizer.me, and you can get a free 30-day trial, and then it will be $10 per month. You can cancel it whenever you want, and I price the membership program so low, so you can tap into practical wisdom no matter how you're standing financially. Alright, I hope you'll join me on this hero's journey of actualizing our potential. See ya.